I see it, but I don't believe it.
Well, believe it because it's true.
Gee!
Yes, Ronald McDonald and all his McDonald Land friends are starring in their very own made-for-home video series that's all about magic storybooks.
Magic storybooks?
That's right. And in this episode, it's adventure on the high seas.
After our treasury, mateys!
As our friends find themselves right in the middle of the action in the classic storybook tale, Treasure Island.
Did you hear that, Hamburglar? We're gonna look for treasure! Isn't that exciting?
It's a magical tale where
nothing is impossible.
and friendship is the most important thing. So join Ronald and all his McDonald Land friends in
The greatest adventure of our lives.
McTreasure Island on videocassette and only from High Tops. Now at a special introductory price of only $9.95. It's the fun way to get acquainted with the classics.
These are your favorite fairy tales where all your dreams come true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come join the fun inside the fairy tale world. Your friends are waiting for you. Yeah, yeah. These are your favorite fairy tales. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
This is a story about the Wizard of Oz. Oh, it didn't start out that way. I mean, it was going to be a story about me. Plain little old Dorothy from the plains of Kansas. You know, like I was going to get up in the morning, get dressed, go to the window, call for my dog Toto, and... well, I barely got through the get up, get dressed window, call the dog part. Here, Toto! Come on, time to play! When all of a sudden came this big windstorm from just out of nowhere.
Sorry, Dorothy. I think you're gonna have to play by yourself.
Next thing I knew, I was flying. Well, my house was flying, but I was inside of it, and I don't mind telling you, I was... well, the truth is, I was having the time of my life. I wish we'd land. You know, my mother was right about being careful what you wish for. Hello? Is anybody out there? Wow. I don't know where I am, but it sure isn't Kansas.
No, it's the land of Oz and I'm the North Witch.
What are you doing down there? Oh dear, I hope I haven't harmed you.
Gracious, no, you made my day dropping in the way you did on the old Wicked Witch of the East over there.
Oh no!
Oh, yes, you did us all a favor. It was high time the old battle axe bit the dirt. Now, around here, custom has it that her shoes belong to you. They're magical shoes and have the power to get you back to this Kansas of yours, provided you know the way. If you don't, you'll have to ask the Wizard of Oz, who lives in the Castle of Emeralds at the end of that yellow brick road.
Hello there! Hey, you, I said hello there! Hey, what's the matter? You don't talk to scarecrows?
Sorry.
Not as sorry as I am. I didn't even scare you, and that's what I'm supposed to do. Though I'm not really sure, because I don't have a brain. And see, if you're going to visit the wizard, I sure would like to go with you. I heard the wizard can grant a person just about anything, so I'm going to ask for a brain, and then... uh-oh, it's the Tin Man!
Well, now, the two of you must be going off to see the Wizard of Oz. I believe I'll just invite myself to go along with you.
You know what, Tin Man? You sure are rude.
I don't have a heart. What's your excuse?
No brain. Oh.
Look, there's a lion hiding behind that tree.
Mind if I come along?
So, there we were. A lion looking for courage, a tin man for a heart, a scarecrow for a brain, and me looking for a way to get back to Kansas. And all the fun we had playing in the fields and taking naps together. Oh, I did miss my home.
I'll just cover her with these leaves.
And so my new friends watched over me throughout the night while I slept. Although no amount of sleep could prepare me for what the next day would bring. That must be the Emerald Castle belonging to the Wizard of Oz.
It doesn't look too friendly. Are you sure we want to go in there?
We all need something that only the wizard can grant. We don't have any choice. Hello? Is anybody here?
That depends on who has come to call.
Well, it's just me, Dorothy, and the Scarecrow, a Tin Man, and a Lion.
Silly combination. I only hope you have not come here for equally silly reasons. Wizard's time is extremely valuable. State your business.
I've come here to ask you for a brain.
I want a heart, Mr. Wizard.
I want some courage.
And I need directions to get back home, sir.
Brain, a heart, some courage and directions home. That's easy. But first you must pass through the exit in that wall, which I will provide, and enter into the land of the Wicked Witch of the West. Destroy this witch and your wishes will be granted. Easy for him to say it's easy. We gotta do the hard part.
Okay, Witchy, come on out.
Uh-oh. There she is down there. She looks frightening.
It's your reflection. Dimwit.
So, the four of you have come to destroy me, have you? Well, let me show you how I treat unfriendly and unwanted visitors. With my special fireball! I will roast all of you to a crisp for daring to even think of challenging me!
I'm not afraid.
Fire is not my favorite thing. Ah, water. That's it. If she likes fire, she won't like this.
You there with that water! What do you think you're doing? Put that water down! Don't you dare come near me with that! Do you hear me? Get away from me with that water!
I may be stupid, but one thing I do know is how to put out a fire.
I've got a lot more fire than you've got water or brains! I'm right over here!
I'll fix it.
That brave!
He's being very brave.
You stay away from me if you know what's good for you! I have no real quarrel with you three pathetic creatures, except girl Dorothy. She destroyed my sister, the Wicked Witch of the East, and I will have my revenge!
Dorothy, look out! Get a bucket of water from that well.
Water? But
Just do it. Trust me. It's the only thing she's afraid of. Now, Dorothy!
actually worked.
All right, Dorothy, we did it. We destroyed the Wicked Witch of the West. She's disappearing. Now the wizard will have to grant our wishes.
Wizard, the Wicked Witch of the West has been destroyed. Now you must keep your promise. Where's the wizard? He promised he would help us.
I'm the wizard, although I'm ashamed to admit I have no power. I won't be able to grant you any of your wishes. I'm just a big fake. I only used you to get rid of that evil witch. But the lion already possessed courage, and the Tin Man a heart, and the Scarecrow a brain. You see, it took caring for one another to bring out qualities that you had within you all along.
What about poor Dorothy?
How am I ever going to get back to Kansas?
With this bell, I can summon the Witch of the South. She has the power to grant your wish. If only you believe.
This better not be another trick.
You have seen the power of an evil witch, but now you will see that the power of a good
which can be even stronger.
Tap one heel of your magical shoes on the ground 3 times, and before you know it, you'll be safely back home.
Dorothy, bye-bye.
So long, Dorothy!
All right, Dorothy, are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hard flight! I'll miss all of you. Goodbye, Scarecrow. Goodbye, Tin Man. Goodbye, Lion. And so, as magically as it had all begun, my adventure came to an end, and I was back in Kansas. Now, some of you may say it was all just a dream, but I can tell you, the lessons that I learned were very real. First, all of us have more intelligence, more heart, and more courage than we sometimes give ourselves credit for. And second, never trust anyone who calls himself a wizard.
I am now going to tell you a very, very beautiful story which took place very long ago in my very beautiful homeland of India. You see, the Maharaja had become grey of whisker and sunken of cheek, very, very old. And so his advisor did what advisors do and advised the Maharaja to decide which of his 2 sons would succeed him to the throne. Whereupon, the Maharaja did what Maharajas do and decided to let a contest decide. Whichever of his sons shot an arrow the farthest would become the new Maharaja. Cephal the eldest would go first.
Such a mighty shot cannot possibly be bested, Your Majesty. Surely your decision has been made.
But the Maharaja had already decided what would decide. Cephal was to have his turn.
Reason holds that one can only judge the distance an arrow had traveled if one considered it landed. Therefore, Cephal wins.
Now then, the Maharaja, being a man of reason, could find no fault in that argument. Cephal was to become his successor, and Cephal, as was the custom, was to be banished from the palace. Seems very, very sad, very unfair, no? I think so too. But, as you will see, fate works in very strange and mysterious ways.
Why, it's my arrow!
But young Cephal soon found himself inside the walls of a most wonderful and magical place. Where his eyes beheld the most beautiful young princess who was playing music on his bow.
Please forgive me, but that is my bow. I don't understand.
A very special bow.
In your hands, perhaps.
It's magical. It's the reason you found me.
Is this really happening? Or am I in the middle of a dream?
The bow is yours, Jafar, and its power has decreed that we should be together.
Oh, and who was the young prince to argue? A magical bow, a beautiful princess with a magic carpet, no less. There was nothing left but for them to spend the rest of their lives together in eternal bliss, floating peacefully throughout the heavens. But no.
You know that I must return.
In spite of his newly found good fortune, Jafar had been unable to stop thinking about his father and the palace. He was homesick, and he needed to tell his brother that he bore him no hard feelings. He did not wish to be Maharaja. He wished only to be allowed to return home with his princess. But he had been gone longer than he realized.
Since your father's death, I have advised you well. I say he must go.
Please, Cephal, I mean no harm. I am no threat to you. I wish only to return with my princess and live in peace.
You could tell Cephal was a true Maharaja, for his decision was to think about it. He was not the only one doing that.
Just when I have the new Maharaja in the palm of my hand, Jafar must return. Look at him up there, lounging by moonlight on his magic carpet. I must get rid of him, or I know he'll be my ruination. You know the only reason he would return return is that he wishes to take your place, Safal. Tell him to give you his magic carpet, and unless he intends to use its power against you, he will agree.
Right. I will ask for the carpet first thing in the morning, and then I will know if he's my enemy or not.
But the Maharaja's evil advisor was not about to leave anything to chance. And so that night, while Jafal was fast asleep, he went very sneaky into his quarters and stole the carpet.
If you mean me no harm, you will give me your magic flying carpet.
Gladly, but it was stolen.
Maybe you have hidden it so you may use its power for my downfall.
No, I am not your enemy. I swear it.
Well, if you wish to prove that, I will give you the opportunity. You will provide me with a massive tent, but it must fit in your palm, yet cover the entire palace.
It has to cover the whole palace, yet fit in my hand.
I will help you. Here. The contents of this jar contain exactly what is required.
Thank you, Perifani.
And so Periphery's magical jar produced a tiny piece of cloth, which somehow grew large enough to cover the entire palace. But the Maharaja's advisor was not about to give up so easily.
If you retrieve an apple from the forest of the lands, then we will believe you mean no harm to the Maharaja.
But Periphery had foreseen this challenge and instructed Jafar to simply feed the lions before attempting to retrieve the apple. And so, apple in hand, Jafar ran joyously back to the palace, certain that this would be his final test, the final proof that he meant his brother no harm.
And that still wasn't proof enough for them, Jafar?
Now they demand the impossible. I am to produce an ancient wise man with long flowing whiskers from out of a small container.
Then we will do it.
But how?
Our love for one another makes anything possible.
My princess, what would I do without you?
We'll both show up at the palace tomorrow to present them their little man with whiskers.
Brother Safal, we have brought the little man as you have asked.
You have brought a vessel. Whether or not it contains a little man remains to be seen.
Not only was he to have been small, but extremely wise, so that I may once and for all know the truth.
Prepare to hear it.
Jafar's magic carpet while the boy slept. My trusted advisor.
You have brought this on yourself. You should have stayed away.
Maharaja's evil advisor had at last been forced to show his true colors. But now he had the young princess as hostage, and Prince Jafar would have to resort to some magic of his own to save her.
No one can help you now. To save yourself.
So, after a very daring rescue, Jafar and his princess returned to the palace to be welcomed very warmly by the Maharaja.
Please accept my apology. I was very wrong about everything. You are always welcome.
You are forgiven.
Thank you.
And we shall visit often.
Finally, it was that Prince Jafar and his beautiful young princess sailed off together on their magic carpet, happy and safe in the knowledge that whatever the future might bring, their love, their trust and faith in each other would see them through. But between you and me, wouldn't you agree that having a little magic on one side as well never hurt?
Yes,
feeling so too.
Our story takes place in the vast and ancient land of Persia, where, in a desert village, there once lived two brothers. The eldest brother was Qasim, a very wealthy and successful merchant. The younger brother was Alibaba, a poor woodcutter. Qasim was as devious and mean as Alibaba was honest and hardworking. One day, while cutting wood on the outskirts of the village, Ollie suddenly heard the sound of raucous voices. He quickly went to explore and was met with a frightening sight.
And now, my brave men, into the cave with our treasure!
It was the infamous robber Paka and his band of murderous thieves.
Open sesame!
Open sesame?
Alibaba could not believe his eyes. The Paka had commanded the rock to open with two simple words, two magical words that he would not forget. Now, more curious than ever, he waited and watched, being ever so careful not to make a sound. Suddenly, the rock opened once again and the thieves came out without the treasure.
Himasus Nepo!
Amazed and still frightened, Alibaba remained frozen in place until the 40 thieves were well out of sight. Then, no longer able to contain his curiosity, he carefully approached the spot where he had seen the rock open.
I wonder if it will work for me. It may just be the Paka's voice the rock obeys. Well, I'll know in a minute. Open sesame! It worked!
Very cautiously, Alibaba entered the cave, fearful of what he might find besides treasure. But then he saw it, more gold and jewels than he had ever dreamed possible.
I'm rich! I'm finally wealthy!
But even with all his sudden wealth, Alibaba was not a greedy young man. He had taken only a few small sacks of gold coins, placing them on his donkey and covering them with branches.
Nepo!
Remembering the magic words to reseal the cave, he watched as the rock slid back into place. That night, anxious to count his gold, he immediately sent his wife next door to Brother Qasim's to borrow a measure.
Now, we both know my brother is very poor. If he wants to measure something...
That's why I left some syrup in the bottom of the measure. Whatever he places in it must be of value, and some of it will stick.
Now, there you are, and make sure you bring it right back when you're finished with it.
Yes. Alibaba quickly measured the gold, then returned the cup as promised.
Look what my brother measures. Gold coins. Where would he get gold?
Obviously, he found it.
That much I figured out for myself, wife with face of camel.
Now to find out where he found it. He'll spill in a minute if you give him your slave girl in return.
Any other ideas, Fig Eyes?
None that'll do the trick as good as that.
And Morgiana will be mine?
Just tell me what the password is.
Open sesame to open and Amasis Nepo to close.
Riches, riches, filthy riches.
The very next morning at sunrise, Qasim, along with every pack horse he owned, was standing at the door to the Paka's cave.
This is it. Now, open sesame! I did it! It worked! Amasis Nepo! Now open sesame. Emasis nipo.
But not even Kasim, in all his greed, could have envisioned such a mountain of treasure.
I'll just take this chest right here. It should do quite nicely. Who am I kidding? I'll take it all.
And so Kasim began to load the blanket with all that it could possibly hold, and also a great deal more than he would be able to carry. But finally, he did manage to drag the treasure near the door.
Open caraway.
Now, what was that word? Open dillweed! May whoever operates this store have their tent warmed by the breath of 1,000 camels! Listen to me! I said, open the stupid door!
But the door would not budge, and Kasim, now frightened and exhausted, had fallen to his knees in despair. Unable to remember the magic words, he feared for the worst, and he was not to be disappointed.
Oh, great Baka! I wasn't going to steal anything.
What's in that bag over there? Laundry? No one who tries to steal from me ever lives to try again.
Having managed to learn from Kasim that it was Alibaba who had first discovered his secret treasure, the Paka sent his trusted Ahmed of the Beady Eyes to Alibaba's village. There, following Kasim's directions, he was to locate the house of Alibaba and mark it so that the Paka and his men would be able to find it by night, for not even the brave and fearless Paka was foolish enough to attempt murder or abduction by the light of day. Finding the right house, Ahmed quickly placed an X on the door and left the village. Not, however, before he had been spotted by the slave girl, Morgiana.
I just know that beady-eyed man was up to no good. Now what could it be?
As Morgiana was now Alibaba's servant, she was not about to take any chances. By the time the Paka and his men arrived that night, she had placed identical X's on every door of every house in the entire neighborhood.
Well, which one was it?
I'm not sure. I only marked one house.
How come all the houses are marked if you only marked one of them, Hummus Brain? What did you have in mind, having me play multiple choice?
I swear I marked only one. But I'm so confused, I'm afraid I've forgotten which.
My most trusted man. I must now resort to Plan B, I guess.
This plan was more complicated. It involved a caravan of 10 camels carrying 40 jars, one of which was filled with oil. The other 39 contained the Paka's men.
I have come here from very, very far to sell my very fine oil in your very fine village. But I can't find a place to rest my head.
Well, I might be
you
able
are most kind. Many, many, many thanks. May you reap only what you have sown, my dear sir.
And may you reap all that you have sown. Please, my house awaits. I hope you have found everything to your liking.
Yes, quite.
But in truth, having Alibaba and his wife retire for the night would have been far more to the Paka's liking.
Forgive me, Master, but I'm afraid we do not have enough oil left to keep the lamps burning.
Oh, but perhaps our guest would allow us to use some of his oil, Morgiana.
Sorry, but I don't have any oil. Ooh, I have a whole caravan full, that's right. But just use the jug marked with an O, will you?
Surely. Thank you.
As Morgiana went to fetch oil for the lamps, she couldn't help thinking about this oil merchant. There was something very strange and familiar about him, if she could only remember what it was.
I know him.
You know who? Who said that?
What?
I said, who said that?
I knew he was no oil merchant.
Suddenly, everything made sense to Morgiana, and she knew she must act quickly. Finding the oil, she took it to the kitchen and heated it to a boil, and made short work of the evil men who had been hiding in wait to kill her master. She now knew that the leader of these men was none other than the feared robber Paka. Now she would perform for her master's guest. Now she would put on the act. She could not tell Alibaba because he would not believe her. He was too kind and naive, but she knew. It had been dark last night, and she had had only a small glimpse of him through the window in her quarters. But now there was no mistaking that evil face. She moved ever closer, her scimitar whirling in the air.
Morgiana! Morgiana, have you lost your mind? This man is my guest! Have you gone mad?
Master, he is an evil robber Paka who wishes to kill you! Now go from this house! Do not ever return, for certain death awaits you!
Attack! I'm ordering you to help me!
There is no one left to help. May you come back in your next life as a camel's hump. Now be gone!
Oh, yes, ma'am. Many, many thanks. I'm going. See, I'm gone. Take the treasure. It's yours. I'm finished. Never again.
The next morning, Alibaba opened the cave and shared the treasure with the entire village. But the one person more deserving of reward than anyone was interested in more important things.
Hello, Abdallah.
Huh? Ah, Morgiana, you look beautiful.
Well, in case you were wondering, Abdallah, Morgiana can marry. She's no longer a slave, you know.
You mean that I am free? Oh, thank you!
There's an old saying, what goes around comes around. Now, whether or not that saying originated with Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, we will never know. Though somehow, I can't help but believe that it did.